India's colonial experience under British rule was fraught with exploitation and hardship, yet the country didn't witness a full-scale rebellion during World War I or World War II. This fact may seem surprising, considering that these were times when Britain was vulnerable and many colonized nations sought independence. However, India's complex political situation, combined with strategic decisions made by its leaders, played a pivotal role in this outcome. In today's video, we'll explore the various reasons why India didn't rise up in rebellion during these global conflicts. At first glance, it may seem that the wars were ideal opportunities for India to strike at the British Empire. Yet despite growing discontent among the Indian population and the growing strength of the independence movement, rebellion did not materialize on a significant scale. Over 2 million Indian soldiers fought in both wars combined, and the Indian economy was heavily involved in the war efforts. But the country's political, social, and military dynamics during these periods were far more complex than a simple narrative of colonial oppression leading to rebellion. Internal political calculations. The internal political dynamics within India played a critical role in preventing large-scale rebellion. During World War I, the Indian National Congress (INC) was not yet calling for complete independence, but rather for greater self-governance within the British Empire. Leaders like Annie Besant and Bal Gangadhar Tilak pushed for reforms that would allow India to have more autonomy under British rule. There was no clear call for rebellion at this stage, and the INC hoped that supporting Britain during the war would lead to constitutional reforms. This calculation paid off to an extent when the British introduced limited reforms after the war. By World War II, Indian politics had evolved, and there was more pressure for complete independence. However, even then, divisions within the leadership and differing strategies created hurdles. Mahatma Gandhi, the most influential leader at the time, strongly advocated nonviolent resistance and was opposed to direct rebellion. The Quit India movement in 1942, which was the most significant call for rebellion during the war, was brutally suppressed, and the imprisonment of the Congress leaders weakened the momentum for a mass uprising. Meanwhile, the Muslim League under Jinnah was more focused on achieving a separate Muslim state rather than rebelling against British rule. Strategic global considerations globally, the two wars presented a complicated backdrop for India's potential rebellion. During World War I, Indian soldiers were assured by the British that their loyalty would be rewarded with post-war reforms. Though these reforms did not grant significant autonomy, they kept the immediate threat of rebellion at bay. Many Indian soldiers, fighting on behalf of the British Empire, saw their efforts as paving the way for future negotiations about self-rule. The idea of fighting for a future where India might achieve greater freedom made outright rebellion seem less appealing. In World War II, the threat of Axis powers, particularly Japan, loomed large over India. Japan's rapid expansion in Asia, including its occupation of British-held territories, made the idea of a rebellion seem dangerous. Many Indian leaders believed that if Britain lost the war, India could fall under Japanese control, which was viewed as a worse outcome than British colonial rule. Thus, even as many Indians yearned for independence, the global threat posed by fascism influenced the decision not to rebel outright. The British victory, coupled with their weakened state after the war, eventually led to India gaining independence in 1947.